should we be doing to try to heal and to try to move our economy forward and to try to generate prosperity and happiness, which you're always talking about, but it seems so elusive in recent years?
Yeah, it really has. And by the way, this is not the first time this has happened. The United States goes through populist, polarizing political waves all the time, where you find that the lies that go forward, and the only thing that the political parties can agree on, for example, right now, is that the hard right and the hard left agree that capitalism has failed, which is a huge lie. That the American military is a force for bad in the world, that we should shut down with respect to trade and immigration, and your enemy is your neighbor. That's really what we're talking about. And when that's the kind of agreement, you get a whole lot of bitterness and a whole lot of unhappiness. There's so much good that we could do. And actually, the impending recession itself should be an opportunity to work together that can usher in a new day, because Rahm Emanuel one time said, he was much derided for something that was quite correct, that you should never let a crisis go to waste. We should be talking about wonderful things like energy expansion that increases jobs and opportunity and growth, and not talking about trying to make the government more flush with increased tax revenues to decrease demand. Look, macroeconomically, I think that many of the solutions are clear, and Americans can agree on them, and Democrats and Republicans should come together on them, and that would be part of the catalyst for improvement.
We can't even agree on what you mean by expanding energy. We've got to, I heard someone say the answer is in solar and wind.
Well, that certainly is an expansion in energy, but the compromise would be more solar and wind and more natural gas and more nukes and more of everything. Because the truth of the matter is that freedom comes from energy, and we need more sustainable energy sources that actually are what we can all agree on when we talk about sustainability. Like 90% of Democrats and Republicans would gladly sign on for an expansion of solar and wind and natural gas and nuclear. But these ideas are being hijacked by radicals at the margins, trying to make us afraid of energy itself and negative and pessimistic about the future. Our future is unbelievably bright if we'll just take it. We have the best possible world we could possibly have, given all the incredible advances that have been made and those that should be yet to come. Our only enemy is us.
But predictions are so hard, especially about the future. Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey,
absolutely.
Arthur, you talked about radicals. You talked about radicals hijacking the process, and I'm curious for the business leaders out there that want to speak up on many of these issues, whether it's on energy on one end, whether it's on Roe v. Wade on another, or gun safety. For example, a whole bunch of CEOs just put out a new letter this morning on that, but they came out with basically no recommendations, I would argue to you, in part because they're too scared to do so, because they look at what's happened, for example, in Florida with that baseball team that literally said, we're for gun safety, and the governor there, DeSantis, effectively punished them for doing it. And so I think that there's sort of a very difficult place to be in terms of whether you have a perspective and when you can say it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And look, when we're talking about the courage of CEOs, let's not forget that a lot of CEOs are being held hostage by radicals inside their companies.
Yep, that's true too.
Of things that most of their employees don't even agree with, and they're coming out with radical political positions that are alienating to consumers and different people in the economy. That's the same problem. Look, the deal of this basically is leaders are supposed to lead with courage and love. That's the leader's job. Do the right thing for the American public, notwithstanding your own personal political views. Don't be held hostage by politicians. Have courage, and certainly don't be held hostage by the most vocal and radical 6% of your workforce. I mean, stand up and lead, guys. That's really what it comes down to. And one of the things that we find, by the way, is when you stand up to bullies, you almost always win.